Yeah, what do you want? Ah, heck, I forgot all. Ah, sure. Honey, I gotta go work with some kids. Yeah, turns boy, he's busy today. Watch the cat out, don't let the cat out. Alright, I'm coming. That Terrence called me last night. Said something about couldn't make it. Asked me to fill in with a farm. Uncle Bob, some people call me Captain Bob. Yeah, this is me a nice garden. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Hurt. I don't think he's home. I think he said he's gonna leave the door open. So. Hurt. In there. Look at this dang messy. Enough here. Hope you don't expect me to be cleaning it up, that's for there. And then sure. Well, let's see. Hurt. Where are you? Alright. You upstairs? It's your surveillance camera? Come on there. Alright. Well, Terrence, you here? Terrence? Oh, hey, he left me some maple syrup. He said he was going to do that. I don't work for free, you know. I need that maple syrup, so. Alright, so I guess he says I'm going to be like carving some stuff. Alright. Okay, we'll see about that in a second. All right. Well, let me get set up, and we'll call you in a bit. Around his shop, and there's a lot of messifying here going on here. But I see you left me a lime, and looks like he started something, but it didn't finish it. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. But I was telling him that. Unless I get my maple syrup, I don't do nothing for free. So, yeah, sure. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Maple syrup. You know, I love maple syrup. You know, when I was a little boy, I did some maple syrup, and I did. And that was before I joined the Coast Guard, you know, we had back in the day. So anyway, I think you're kind of a Mr. L. Some of you kids call him Mr. Lannon. Yeah, well, he couldn't make it today. Quite honestly, I think he might be out fishing, but well, you know, we ain't gonna talk about that. So he asked me, I'm up. My name is Uncle Bob. Some people call me Captain Bob, you know, and that's a story into itself, But Coast Guard, you know, the Coast Guarder. I appreciate them, you know. Get to see some around here, some still lobsters out there. So anyway, so, well, whenever I get to makeifying things, I need to particularly kind of be patriotic about it, because I kind of feel like we're going to have a whole new renaissance here. You know, all this trouble we've been having, well, now we're starting to come back out of our houses, and people starting to think about purposes and all that. So I think we're going to have what they call a renaissance. So I'm more than happy to participate with you, Mr. Lannon, Mr. T, Mr. L. Oh, we called him a lot of names back in the day. So anyway, I'm a carver, see? And I carve things mostly. That's kind of my thing, and I look down the way, and Mr. T, he called me, and actually he had textified me. I'm not used to the textifying, but that's okay. He textified me, and I got back to him, and I said I'd be more than happy to help, because he's been working hard, I hear. A lot of different stresses in the job, from what I hear. So anyway, what we're going to do today, he said something about carving a crabby face, and I don't know why I call me, because I usually have a jovial type face, but, you know, I have been known to be crabby. Some people just thinking crap because of my voice, but that is from. Oh, when I was in the Coast Guard, I was up on in the big old mast, so I was always having to holler down, because we didn't have them cellified phones. So we used to have to yell a lot, and with all salt air coming in and all that. Well, that's another story. So that's why I always stay hydrated. Hydration's very important. Now this is what you call the kombucha. It's a ginger brand kombucha. We buy it at the local market there. It's buy local, So as long as you have your kombucha, celery, that'll keep you hydrated more than you know. Got myself a lime. I've always got a. Because sometimes if you really think about it, you got your kombucha, might be a little bit on the boring side. Hot summer day, you might squeeze a little lime in there. So anyways. Oh, I always have an almond handy. They can be very nutritious for you. So I always keep one of them handy. A little bit of protein. So anyway, that keister, that's what we call him up here, keister. That's because he's always sitting on his keister. Oh, that's another story, but anyway. So anyway, there's a whole thing about making stuff, and it's exciting. Now, one of it is because no one's ever made it. Now, you might have a stylistic approach to things, and that's a good way to be. So, what I got here is I got my glasses, right? I got my glasses so I can see what I'm doing, right? And I got my other spectacles, which I'll need from time to time. I do have some safety gloves, which I do wear in demonstrations, but depending on how I'm working, I'll just keep them handy. But because you're young, I probably should wear them. There's an old saying when you get to an old guy like me, you always have some maple syrup, and do what I say, don't what I do. Do what I don't, do what you're supposed to. Something like that. Do what I say what I don't. Don't do what I done. Do what I can do. So anyway, what we're going to do today, he said we're going to be doing some carb-a-fine. So I said, what kind of carb-a-fine you want to do? And he was like, well, let's carb-a-fine an apple. So I went and I did one for you. And I'm going to show it to you now. It's a little bit of a crabby. He's kind of a crab apple face. He's kind of a crabby man, see? And I did that there the other day. Right. I might have a sped up video of that, but and I carve a little guy out of a thing. He's still working on that. Sometimes I really like to carve-a-fie mushroom, with dried mushrooms. You can get a little drumming on that, and that's always good. But today we're going to try and carve up ourselves a lime. Now, this is a little bit different operation than you might be used to. See, but the good thing about it is you can always eat your art later on, So if no one, you say you're out in the desert and you're carving a lime for sale, and there ain't no one around to buy the lime. Well, you certainly don't want to waste all the time that you put into it. So what you could do, you can take a squeeze into it, get a good squeeze, and you can get the energy from the lime. So it's kind of what we call an upcycling way of making art. So making art out of things you can eat, like this little crabby apple. I lived 2 days off that apple, I did. All the extra parts, what they call the negative space. So anyway, I like to exaggerate a little bit for fun. That's made out of stone. That's kind of cool. I like to make little faces, see. Everybody says they kind of look like my relative. And there's a good one there. There's a good one there. So anyway, he's an oldie. He got all broke up over a girl. No, I'm only kidding. he filified over. He was a good one. I liked him. I'll do something with his head someday. So anyway, see, I just broke the hat. So you need yourself a magnifier, right? And you need something to carve. So what I have here, I have a knife. Now, if you're gonna be carvifying, you gotta be safe. See? Now, if you're not safe, it means you're not safe. And that's why you need the magnifiers in a particular situation. When you get in detail, you need your gloves. But the most important thing is how you hold your body. So what you want to do, you know how when if a chicken is in the yard and it knows there's a coyote around, well, it goes like this. Right? Just like that. Ready? Try. Everybody try that. Okay. So what that's doing is getting protectified. See? Saying protection, look around, observe which way to run. Then they run. But at first, you ever do that on the subway when you hear the train coming? Right? Or if you didn't do your homework and you didn't do your homework and the teacher be coming up on you asking, you'd be like, your parents been saying where you're going and you go, well anyway, it's a form of protection. So the way we use it in the arts is like this. We keep our elbows in our body, but not in a stressful way, but in a commanding way. And then we have our hands always connected. We are one with our hands. See? Now, some people will do a little bit of a drawing on the outside, but I don't do that. I go with the flow. So watch this. What we're going to do is we're just going to go with the flow. Here we go. See, now what I like to do is I like to use my pinky as a rotator-fier. See, now, the way I discovered this, I was up in Maine, right? And I was sitting there looking at all the stars. This is just a glorious thing. And I noticed that they were rotator-firing around here. And they're rotating around I thought, hey, they're rotator-firing around the fire. And that was like amazing to me. The stars are rotator-firing around the fire. And I just thought that was like a poetic thing. So anyways, I discovered why I was rotator-firing, while I was contemplating on the rotator-firation, rotation of the rotator-fire. See, this rotator-firing implies that someone rotator-fired it, see? So I started contemplating who made the rotator-fire in the first place. But that's another story. So anyway, here we go. We're going to carve this thing. So what you need is you need your spectification, right? See? So what I do is I carve in a circular fashion and I let it take a little walk. See, it's what it can walk. Take a line on a walk, and then I'm going to come at it in the other direction. Cutting it at a 45-degree angle. You mathematicians know what I'm talking about. But notice how my pinky is always the rotator. So things are rotating around the pinky so I can't get hurt. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel away that greenness. There, see that? Now I got a design in my line. Looking so fine. See, now, I think one of the reasons why you're Mr. Lannon guy called Uncle Bob is because he knows got a way with words, and I can put things in a different perspectively discussion for you, and then you can understand the ease in which you can be a creative person. See, y'all can be creative because you have your brain. See, now, but what's also interesting about the whole thing is you got a heart too. So it's interesting that when you have a brain and a heart at the same time, and you got a magnifying glass and a lime, you can make the most interesting, questionable things. And you can go look at something and you go, that's a cool little thing there, that lime. And then you can cut another hole in it, peel it out, and the whole thing is rotated fine around my hands. So that's a very slow process, but it yields very nice results. Terrence asked me to carve myself up one of them little people but he didn't give me no apple. So I always come prepared. I always have a potato handy. So like I was saying, I'm gonna try and get into a potato. So anyway, like I was saying before, whenever you're gonna make a carving, you gotta have your arms in your body like a chicken, but not hard. Okay, most importantly. So what you're first gonna do is you're gonna take your sharp knife. Now I've got a few different kinds. I got this kind here. That's for linoleum, but it'll come out as a good scooper. I got my razor blade. Always gotta have a good razor blade. I got a little brush, push things off to the side, and a couple of pokey tools. So anyway, here we go. That's another story. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first make like a T, right? So like that and like that. See, I'm gonna cut it nice and deep because see, the whole thing of cutting deep is if you cut deep, then you get a big old nose coming out of it, right? See, so first off, you take that off there, right? Now the other beautiful thing, I didn't notice this till I was really out there on the road, but when you're trying to become an artist, right? There's a reason they call us starving artists. Because you gotta be willing to give up stuff. Sometimes you can't afford the food. So the good thing about doing your artifying in the potato is I can eat the potato when I'm done now. So the thing is I try to make my potato as small as I can in the face, and then I get more to eat more. And the public, they don't mind at all. They just assume have a carving that took more time on, because then they think it's worth more for some reason. Now, see what I'm doing is I'm cuttifying the planes away. Not like the planes you're riding. What you're doing, I'm cuttifying off all of the extra potatoes, eh? Cutting it down, cutting it down, cutting it down. Now, it's this wonderful little story I'm going to share with you. When I was a little boy, a long time ago, when I went into what they call kindergarten, and we had this teacher, I remember two things about her. Her name was Mrs. Snyder, who eats the spider. That's what we used to say. Probably wasn't very nice of us. But she was a nice lady. She taught us how to make a circle out of a square. And she said, get your square. So she gave us a square, and mine was purple. And then she said, give us some scissors, which we learned to use in the previous day. Evidently, I just don't remember. And we kept cutting up the corners. And when we was done, we had a circle. I'll never forget that. So you just start with the squares, start with the triangles, and you slowly round them off. And then once you get roundified, all of a sudden, what happens is you start seeing tissue and skin. See? Now, he kind of looks like a soldier to me. We see him right there. See? So what I'm doing is I'm cuttifying away certain areas. See? I'm cutting away. And what's going to be happening before our very eyes is the little soldier boy's going to start showing up. So what I got to do is got to make him some ears, right? Now, let's see what we got. We got to give him a good old forehead. Because a man needs a good forehead. Yeah, there it is. And we think we'll just keep him something like that. Yeah. He's getting there. He's getting his big old groucho eyebrows on right now, but we can fixify the hair. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out a big wide opening in the mouth. I'm going to pick it out as best I can. There we go. There we go. Now, I think it's most importantly to get into his eyeballs. I think what I'll do is I'll take a tool and I'm just going to digify it out. See? There we go. There we go. Oh, yes. See, now it's so interesting. As soon as you put him in there, now he's got some personality. See? Okay, so now let's get off his eyebrows. We're going to just take this now. Notice how when I'm sculptifying, my hands are always close to each other. Always close to each other. Now, there's an old saying from the movie The Patriot. Aim small, miss small. Now, what that reminds me of is if you hold your hands tight like a chicken and you sculptify slowly, piece by piece, you're not so much as going to get yourself cut as say if you didn't. So, always keep your hands like a chicken. Okay, now we're going to go after the neck. Because a baby has what you call the nap of the neck, see? What we're going to do is we're going to carve out that nap of the neck. And that's going to give it a nice roundness. You know, if you hold a little baby by the nap of the neck, it's a marvelous experience. One of the best things I ever did was hold my daughter by the nap of the neck. So anyway, that's another story. So, now we have a very proud-jawed man. I'm going to carve away it. Carve away, carve away, carve away. I'll make him nose. He's going to get a little bit of a nose. Going to thin out his nose just a little bit up at the top. Give a little bit of what they call a taper. Not to be confused with a taper. That animal that rides in the jungle. Down the South America way. Yeah, we'll give him some eyebrows. Some nice little eyebrows. I think he needs a little bit of nostrils. So what we'll do is we're going to take like a Q-tip-like shape. Little pin. And we'll make it a little nostril area. Because you need to breathe life into it, so you might as well have a... There we go. Nice little potato face. I don't want to take too much of your time today because I know you're busy, but potato man. Now, like I said, a starving artist, I got some lunch right here. That's a good thing. Thank you, T-Man. Thank you. Letting me hang out with your students today. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's your little potato head. Now what you can do is you can put them in the oil. Fry them slowly. Gotta keep your things in nice and handy. You make a hole right there in the top of his head, right? See? Here's the hole in the top of his head. And you cook it in the oil. And you can have potato face people for dinner. Put the butter right there. Well, I think I think that I helped you understand a little bit about the carvification things. Got my maple syrup. I got some limes to squeeze into my water. I got my kombucha, and now I got my potato for lunch. So, thank you very much for hanging out. Now, one of the things you could do is just say you didn't want to eat the potato head. You could always cover it up with something, and then you can begin making a little person with it. Now, I started this back in the day, but I'm going to try and finishify this boy. Now with the nice little joints and stuff. What they call sculpifying clay? Sculpify. Well, that's carving a potato. Don't forget to eat your almond. Have your kombucha. Thanks for coming. Keep scopifying. Keep scopifying.
Alright, hey gang. Sorry I'm a little late, but hope you had some fun with Uncle Bob. He left me this potato. He carved it evidently. And he cleaned up after himself. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, so I took the potato, right? And I cooked it up for you. Show you what it's gonna look like. There we go. Let's pop it right on, see. Okay, here we go. Alright, so here's the extra scraps, like I was saying. Starving artists. It's hard to come by. Good meal, so. Bob was talking about it a long time ago. When I first came up here. Work, some too much work, so. He's like, until you get yourself
on your feet.
Carved potatoes and apples and stuff. And he was right. So, what I'm gonna do, got my little facey guy. Right, you can see him. Nice little face. We're gonna give him some hair. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, get a little hairdo going on. Right? Kind of like a little mohawk. Check that out, huh? Yeah, baby. And then what we need is a little bit of butter. Right? Get a nice sprig of butter. Drop it down into the hole. Now, he's on a cheese base, which is very desirable when it comes to how cheese is appreciated. It's a wonderful base. Nice cheddar from Vermont. Keeping it real with the local season. Now, we could garlic around, and this will help cheese melt. Nice olive oil. Pour over some of this. Melt that butter right in. Hey, so. Have my coffee. Bob. Nice little dish. You did a nice job. Alright, so next week I'm going to try to put together something else for you. Maybe we can have Bob come up and talk a little bit more. There's a couple of guys up here who I know might be fun to interview. So, alright, have a great time. See you back soon.